welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy,
And I'm Mimi.
and we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate your consideration for that. Membership starts at only $2 a month. With that, you get access to all the material and the content and the messages and everything else that we send to our patrons as exclusives and previews. Sometimes we send stuff to the Patreons before we put it out to the general public, right? And we give them a chance to preview some stuff a little early. But yeah, if you want to help the show out in that manner, we'd appreciate your consideration. Mimi, we are recording this episode on Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Hopefully we will get this episode out and published tonight, maybe. I don't know what your schedule is, but if not tonight, maybe early in the week coming up. But lots of good stuff. You stopped in real quick for a brief homestay, but you're back up at college. How are things going?
Things are good. I'm just tired. It was a crazy weekend of celebrating and late nights, but overall doing okay. Going back to class tomorrow, obviously, because it's Monday, or it will be Monday. Yeah, things are pretty normal over here. Nothing too special.
Yeah, good. Well, sometimes not too special or nothing out of the ordinary is a good thing to have. And of course, this week, we'll have a topic where I think we're going to wrap up sort of the last little bits of our Disneyland trip conversation, like stuff that was prompted from our Disneyland trip. We'll talk about that a little bit this week. I'll let you get into the details about that here in just a moment. But also, there was a news that I saw about Disney World, because we're going to connect the last part of our Disneyland trip conversation to Walt Disney World in Florida. So I have a little bit of, I want to comment a little bit on some news that came out about Walt Disney World in this episode. Of course, we'll have the trivia question answer from last episode's trivia question, a new trivia question, and a Disney dad joke of the week, and any other news that maybe we want to share as we get into things this week. Is there anything you'd like to share, or anything, or explain this week's topic in more detail before we jump into the trivia and the dad joke?
Yeah, totally. I can explain this week's topic. So this week we have decided to go back to Florida a little bit, and we are going to sort of not compare, but discuss sort of the differences that we noticed in the attractions that are in both Orlando and in California. Talk about what's different, what we liked better, what we disliked, that kind of stuff. So I guess we are comparing, but it's not malicious comparison this week. And I'm really excited to get back into this, talk about Orlando again, because it's been quite a while, and Orlando is my love. I definitely am an Orlando girl over California.
So maybe that's where we can start our conversation here in just a minute. But why don't we do it now? Let me ask you this. Been to Disneyland recently, been to Disney World a number of times, like you just said. You would consider Disney World like your go-to park?
Yeah, I would definitely say World is the go-to, especially considering that I'm moving there in January for the Disney College program.
What?
This like fake shock is really funny, because I found out last Tuesday, and everyone has known since last Tuesday, because I can't sit on anything. But yeah, I've been accepted into the Disney College program. I'm so excited. The intimate details of my program are going to stay with me, like the official dates that I'm there. I don't have my role yet, obviously. I don't have a roommate yet, obviously. I don't know anything else other than when I'm going and when I'm coming home, and the fact that I am going. And the fact that they asked me a lot about being a lifeguard in the interview, which is a little scary, because I should not be a lifeguard. No. But I wasn't going to be like, no, I can't do that, and then have them be like, oh, well, then we can't hire you. that wasn't going to happen. I'm okay being a lifeguard,
with
but
the
not
proper
really.
training. Yeah. Hopefully get some proper training there. Congratulations, first of all. And yes, I did know because you shared it with us right away. And I know that this was a goal of yours for a long time. And so congratulations. I hope it's great. If you are a listener of the show, or if you're watching the episode on YouTube, if you yourself was a member or participated in the Disney college program, if you have any advice for Mimi, you can shoot us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, right? You know,
Well, that
you
would
don't
be
have
cool.
to, but yeah, if you have any advice, if you were a member of the Disney college program at some point, yeah, she'll get the
That would be
email
super
and
cool.
we're great. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm
congratulations. We're
super
excited.
excited. It's going to be
Now we have a
awesome.
reason to come visit you because you'll be there for a few months, and it would just be rude for your family not to visit while you're there. I think that'd just be rude. And
I don't
we
know.
can't do that. All right. Well, congratulations on that. That's fantastic news. So, yeah, good stuff. Appreciate all of the people who are listening and watching. I'm sure they're sending you well wishes and congratulations. And so, thank you for that. All right. We have a trivia
We're kind of
question
on a time
last
crunch,
week.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so let's
had
get
a trivia
started.
question. So let's get into last week's trivia question answer, this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week, and then we'll talk
Yes.
about Disneyland and Disney World.
All right. Why won't it let me click on it? Okay, last week's question was about Cruella. This week's question is also about Cruella, so stick around for that. Last week's question was, in 102 Dalmatians, what type of cake does Cruella get baked into? Which is a crazy ending, I think, for a Disney movie. And the answer is a wedding cake.
I wonder what it tasted like. I don't know. I didn't know
I've
the
never
answer to
seen
that.
102 Dalmatians. I've never seen that
Not in one
movie.
place. Yeah. Well,
I've never seen that movie.
That's the answer to last episode's trivia question. If you got that right, you are probably among the smartest people we know because I didn't know
Probably.
that either.
Because that's some
Did she survive? Did they like kill her?
knowledge. I guess they
I mean,
bake
they
her
baked
into
her in
a
a cake.
the way that like the witch in Hansel and Gretel gets baked into a pie. Like I would assume probably dead. That's really dark. Disney can get dark, but that's like real dark.
Ruins a
Especially
perfect
for
good
live
cake
action. Because that movie is live
Yeah.
action. It's not animated. Well, I guess the dogs are
They
mostly animated.
probably don't show her like in the oven baking. Maybe they do
Or
it
being chopped
maybe they
up
do
or
it like in
something.
maybe they do it in like a comedic way where she comes out and she's like still alive, but she's baked inside a cake going, help me.
We're going to be
I'm in a
like
cake."
demonetized for this. This is such a gruesome
It's
conversation.
just
Dude,
whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what her
whatever.
deal
All right.
is. That's really weird.
Well, there you go. That is it. I have some Disney news, which feeds into the Disney Dad Joke of the Week. So I want to talk about the Disney news I heard this week that I thought was really cool because it is sort of a setup for the Dad Joke of the Week. So I read on the blog Mickey that before they drain the rivers of America, at Disney World, because it's drained now, it's like dry except for the rainwater, I guess it falls. Before they drained it, Disney took great care to remove, listen to this, they removed over, I think, 2,000 fish out of the rivers of America because they knew there was fish in there and they didn't want to just drain it and kill the fish. First of all, it would smell really bad with rotten fish, right? So they took the time to get the fish out and they carefully relocated all the fish into the Seven Seas Lagoon. You imagine that? There was like bass and catfish and I guess sunfish and stuff like that. So yeah, over 2,000. I think it was 2,000, not 20,000. It was 2,000. They took it out of the rivers of America and moved them very carefully into their new home, Seven Seas Lagoon. Good for Disney. Then they drained it, and then there was like, I guess, a lot of worms and bugs. And then I think the birds came in and had a field day. But speaking of fish,
that is really interesting.
Yeah, but speaking of fish, it's kind of a good lead in to the Disney Dad Joke. So, Mimi, are you ready for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week?
I am.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, it is time for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week. Mimi, Nemo, he goes to school, right? Because Mr. Ray, and they take him on the event. He's in school. He's in school. But when you go to school, you have to have recess. I mean, you can't be studying all day. You have to have some recess. Do you know what Nemo's favorite thing to do at recess is?
Mm-mm.
Nemo loves the seesaw.
That's cute. That's a really good one.
Because he lives in the sea.
That's
That's this
really
week's
good
Disney
one.
Dad Joke of the Week. If you have a dad joke of the Disney variety that is family friendly, if we haven't used it before and you'd like us to consider using it on the show, send us an email at this email address that I'm pointing at, disneyassembled@gmail.com. If you're not watching, trust me, I'm pointing at it. It's on the screen. All right.
Did you get the dad joke from Liesel?
I did get a joke from Liesel, and I didn't use it this week. I have to use it next week.
Okay. Our friends Andrew. Well, we talk about Andrew so much. Let's just call it as it is. Andrew
He sent
is my
us a
cousin,
joke too.
your nephew.
Yeah, he sent us a joke. Yeah.
And he and his girlfriend and his mom just came back from Disneyland, and they have this super awesome story that I think it was a stormtrooper, or the joke is about a stormtrooper. They're wearing, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a limited edition Disney Assembled t-shirt that came out from Andrew that said, "Ask me for a Disney dad joke" on the front. And then on the back, it had the castle, our original logo, and it said Disney Assembled 100th episode. That was obviously years ago. Andrew, for his Disneyland trip and for our 300th episode, remade the shirts. They haven't hit us yet, but he and his girlfriend and his mom wore them at Disneyland. And they say, "Ask me for a Disney dad joke." And Liesel was asked for a Disney dad joke by, I think, a stormtrooper or like some character. And she told the joke and received a free Mickey ice cream bar as a result of the dad joke.
I never got any free ice cream when I told the dad jokes on our trip.
But did you tell them to characters?
I think I remember the joke. Now that you remind me, I think I remember it. It may not be exactly what she sent, so I apologize in advance, Lisa. I'm going to try to say it. I'm going to try to see if I remember the dad joke, because I do remember it had something to do with stormtroopers. Okay, so we're going to do a second dad joke of the week. Okay, Mimi, are you ready for the second Disney dad joke of the week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. Is that a yes? You are ready.
Sorry, right. I'm looking for the story.
Okay, but I think I have this. I think I remember the joke.
Okay, what was it?
Again, Liesel, if you're listening, I apologize if I don't get it exactly correct, because I don't have it in front of me, but I think I remember what it was. All right, so this is the second of this week's Disney Dad Jokes of the Week. Mimi, do you know what the Disney Dad Joke of the Week and the Stormtroopers both have in common?
Yes. No.
Let's start again. Mimi, do you know what the Disney Dad Joke of the Week and Stormtroopers have in common? We both always miss our mark.
That's a good one.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Because the Stormtroopers pew pew and they always miss, right? And the dad joke is typically not. It is a dad joke, right? So, Liesel, thank you. If I didn't get it exactly right, I apologize. Hopefully, it's close enough. I will check the messages to make sure I get it just right. If I didn't get it just right, but thank you for submitting.
Okay, follow up.
Disney Dad Joke of the Week. Yeah.
Did you get the one from Ant-Man?
From Ant-Man.
Andrew sent us a dad joke that was given to him from Ant-Man.
No.
Really?
Do you have it?
Yeah. Is it time for this week's third Disney Dad Joke of the Week?
And are you going to deliver it for the first time ever?
I might just.
Okay, a third Disney Dad Joke of the Week, but a first on Disney Assembled at almost 283 episodes. This will be the first time that Mimi is going to deliver a Disney Dad Joke of the Week for the third Dad Joke of the Week. But you have to, I don't know the joke. You have to tell it.
Okay. Can we change this sound bit to Minnie Mouse? Can you find a sound bit of Minnie Mouse saying "oh boy" instead of Mickey, so that's for my joke? Okay, anyway, you ready for this week's third Disney Dad Joke of the week?
Let's do it.
Papa. Why do you never see or hear about sick anteaters?
I have no idea.
They're full of antibodies.
Boy, Ant-Man gave Andrew that joke. So this is a Disney dad joke. It's not really Disney themed, but it's Disney themed because Ant-Man.
It came from Ant.
It was an Ant-Man original to our good friend Andrew, who, as people may have figured out, has recently been to Disneyland,
To
Disney California Adventure. 3 dad jokes this week, which means there'll be 3 times as many people turn the show off than usual.
Well, no, they came back because I did the
Fantastic.
last one.
Yeah, once they find out that you gave one of the jokes, then we'll triple our listenership. All right.
Right.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you everyone for submitting jokes. We appreciate it. It's lots of fun. And so good.
Yes.
All right. Disney World, Disneyland, there are rides in each, and we want to just comment. Now that we've been to Disneyland recently and our mind has been refreshed, we wanted to revisit.
Yes.
Right? All right. You have a
100%.
list.
Yes. I'm
muting my mic. I'm letting you go for it.
Okay. I have a list. It's from Gemini, and I've got about 25 minutes to talk about this. So we don't just speed run, but we got to get through it.
All right.
It's separated into classic and modern attractions. And I think that that's a great way to go about it, because the classic attractions to me are the ones that are very obviously different between the two parks, and the modern ones have more similarities. So at the top of the classic attractions list is It's a Small World, which is a totally different experience in Disneyland than it is in Orlando. I think the experience standing in line in Orlando is probably a lot better because it's inside. But having the whole clock tower and the show building with all the drawings and the art style being out, super cool. And then when when the clock chimes and the little puppets come out, and it's so cute. But what takes the cake for Small World in Anaheim over Orlando is the actual attraction itself, not just the looks. It's a little bit shorter, and it's got the Disney characters sprinkled throughout it, which makes it so much more fun. Because it's like, oh, look, there's Woody, and oh, look, there's Aladdin. And it kind of gives you some more context as to where in the world you are, right? I can't discern between all the different European countries. And so it's like, oh, there's Merida, we're in Scotland, right? I think that's a lot of fun. So to me, Disneyland takes the cake.
Yeah, and we don't have to talk very long on any of these unless there's something that's pressing. I'll just cut to the chase. I think the Disneyland Small World ride I enjoy it better than the one at Disney World. I agree with you. The show building, the queue in both of them is not really good. I mean, one's indoors, but neither of them are, remarkable. And, the ride itself is a little bit, I don't know, I enjoyed it more at Disneyland. So there you go. It's a Small World. Disneyland. I think
Disneyland,
to me, it was a more enjoyable experience.
For sure. Next, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This one to me didn't stick out as, obviously it's a different layout, but it didn't stick out as a different attraction in Disneyland. I think we didn't really stand in the queue for this one at all. We exclusively did lightning lanes for it, and I think that they're pretty evenly matched. I think I might just be a sucker for the Disney World one because the actual mountain is more visible from different areas of the park, versus with Disneyland, it's very tucked behind everything. You can't really see it unless you're standing right in front of it. I guess you don't really see the mountain as much as you see the coaster. And I think the mountain is awesome.
I like the attraction in both parks. It's not currently running at Disney World because it's being updated and the new track put in. And I believe it's going to be more like the one in Disneyland when it reopens. Because remember, in Disneyland, they have the different scenes that are actually working. Like it looks like the thing explodes and all that good stuff. I really like the one at Disney World because it's one of the roller coasters I ride in both parks. I kind of like, at the end of the Disneyland, you have the town that you go by, right? The old town front. So I think they're both equally fun to ride. But until Disney World reopens and we see what they added to the attraction and what they changed, I'm going to go with Disneyland. I think the Disneyland Thunder Mountain Railroad was, in its entirety, probably a little bit more enjoyable because they have the extra show scenes and the Dynamite Goat is more visible and so forth. So, but they're both great. I don't think the Disney World one is bad at all. I just think the Disneyland one was plussed up a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. Because I think when the Disney World one opens, that plussing up will become irrelevant. I think it will be basically the same.
Right. Okay, next, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. I did not get on Dumbo in Disneyland because they are the exact same, minus the playground. in the Disney World one, which doesn't really sway it for me.
Yeah, I think it's a wash. I mean, I don't.
They are pretty much
I
exactly
like.
the same.
Yeah, we'll do it for nostalgia, but I don't think it's worth debating which one is maybe more enjoyable. They're exactly the same, so I would say
I
it's a
think
wash. Yeah,
I think it's in a better location in Disney World. Like I think the
I do
layout
too.
of Fantasyland
Yeah,
is a lot better at Disney World. I think the layout of the whole freaking park is better than in Orlando, but that's different. Okay,
that's a
this
discussion
one's
for
a heavy
another day.
hitter. True. This is a heavy hitter. The Haunted Mansion. What are your thoughts?
I like the Haunted Mansion. I like the one in Disney World. I think a little bit better than Disneyland. The ride is essentially exactly the same. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But the thing that sways it for me is I think the actual mansion in Liberty Square is spookier and more haunted mansion-y than the New Orleans style mansion in New Orleans Square
That's the
for
one on your
whatever
poster right
reason.
behind you.
It is the one on the poster, but I mean, I don't dislike it. I just, if I had to describe a haunted mansion, I think the more New England style in Liberty Square and the way that it's set
Mhm.
off, like you have to go up to a hill, almost like you have to walk up to it. Whereas in New Orleans Square, it's sort of there and there's a lot going on all around it, like right next to it. So the
Yeah.
lead up to the ride is kind of very abrupt. So I
Right.
prefer the Disney World one because of that part of the storytelling, but the ride itself to me is
Yeah,
exactly the
for
same.
sure. It's the ambiance and the outside that really changes this for me. I think everything you said is completely true and I agree with you. But if I were to disagree with you, I would say that I like that the mansion in Disneyland is on a bigger piece of land. Like the front yard to the mansion where the queue is enormous because that's where the queue is. And I like that. I think having the big spooky gate around it, and I think that that really changes the design of the whole house for me versus in Orlando, like I know that the house isn't very big and that that's not the show building versus with the mansion in Disneyland, it feels like you're actually walking into the mansion, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but it's the same. I mean, that
But it's the
house is
same.
not
That
right.
house is not the show building, and I know that. But it feels like you're walking into the mansion because you literally do walk into that building versus in Orlando, you don't walk into the building that's on the top of that
Right.
little hill. Like that's more of like a showpiece.
Right.
I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
next is the Jungle Cruise. I think the Jungle Cruise is the same in both areas. I think Adventureland in Disneyland is much more popular of an area than originally anticipated back in the 50s because it is so tiny and there are 2 million people walking through Adventureland at any given time because of Indiana Jones and the Jungle Cruise, which are two popular attractions. I think Disneyland probably wins though, because I think the theming of Adventureland is a lot better because the greenery is better. And I think it's funny that they make fun of the Indiana Jones people standing in line.
I think the Jungle Cruise in Disneyland I prefer. One, it is a Walt original. The Disneyland Jungle Cruise has a lot of historical significance to Disney parks. I mean, this was a big deal to Walt. And I think it was an opening day attraction at Disneyland. I mean, it was a big deal. I think it's a fine attraction at Disney World. I think it is slightly different, right? I think some of the scenes are a little different, but
Hmm.
the truth is the Jungle Cruise at Disney World could be replaced and I wouldn't be terribly upset because the original in Disneyland is still there. But I mean, if they wanted to use that land to put something else in, they could. I'm not saying they should, but they could.
Yeah.
But the one in
They
Disneyland
still
just
use
is the,
the,
yeah. I mean, the
they
Jingle
still do
Cruise during
the
the holidays and stuff is fun, but
Jingle Cruise is fun. I thought it was interesting that they still do the shoot the hippo scene in California. Any time that I've seen that joke or that bit done on the Jungle Cruise, it's been in California. They don't do that
and
in
and they don't
Orlando where they
lean
shoot at the hippo.
as far as I could remember, they don't lean as much into the Society of Adventurers and Explorers or Explorers and Adventurers at Disneyland as they did at Disney World, like the Sea. Maybe they did, and I just didn't pay
Yeah.
attention. But Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like the one at Disneyland, but again, it's just like Thunder Mountain. I think the one at Disney World is perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. We don't need to harp on that anymore. The next one
Yeah.
is the Mad Tea Party. 100% better in Disneyland. The theming is just so beautiful. It's just so cute.
I
And
do
I
like
love
that
that
it's
Alice
able to
gets on
be
and she
uncovered.
rides.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
like
and
that the
she gets on
weather
and she
allows it to be
rides.
uncovered.
I think it's so much better in California. I think it's so cute.
It was fun to see Alice riding the teacup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was fun.
Just
Right.
adorable.
What's
You don't have
next?
any other thoughts? No, gotcha.
We didn't
Peter
ride
Pan's
it.
Flight. Peter Pan's Flight.
Yeah, I felt like the ride itself was different. It's a different ride
Yeah.
in Disneyland than it is in Disney World. They did not redo the Native American scene at Disneyland. And I think the ride itself, I don't know, maybe because I have the body cam POV. Maybe it was just
It's
me,
different.
but that ride
No,
felt
it's different.
jerky. And when it came to an end, it kind of slammed us forward.
And you could hear the wheels like squeaking.
The Disney World version is better. The queue is much better because you go through the kids' rooms and stuff.
The queue is so bad in Disneyland. Like, I'm never waiting through that ever again. That was awful.
Yeah. No, I think the Disney World version of Peter Pan is a better experience. Yeah.
I think that's an easy win. This one is definitively different between the two parks, and it is Pirates of the Caribbean. Two totally different experiences.
I'm gonna change my opinion on this.
Okay.
Because I have been saying for years that I thought the Disneyland version had the extra drop and it was a superior ride. It's a longer ride.
It's long, so long, too long.
And after riding it a couple of times, again, I love Pirates. We rode it multiple times. I'm starting to lean more towards the Disney World version. The Disneyland version, and we may want to talk about this in more depth in another episode, but the story starts as one story and then changes to a different story. And if you're not really paying attention, it feels like two different rides were just smashed together into one big pirate theme ride. Like part of it has ghosts involved and part of it doesn't have ghosts involved and part of it's got Jack Sparrow and the other part doesn't have Jack Sparrow. And it just seems like, and in the Disney World version, it feels like one long story, like one complete story with Jack Sparrow being a central character throughout the entire attraction. You know, you start in a bayou and then you go into a cave and there's no real caves in the bayou, right? And then you go, so are you in the bayou or are you in the Caribbean? It's a little, I know overall it's fine, but I think now I prefer the Walt Disney World version. I think the indoor queue is much better at Disney World. And I think the tighter storytelling I seem to prefer. My current mindset is I prefer the tighter storytelling.
I think queues overall are so much better in Orlando.
Well, they have room.
They have room. And they knew how much to expect by volume. Because I think when Disneyland was first built and Pirates first opened, they didn't expect millions of people to be coming every day. So there's that. The attraction in Anaheim is too long. And I never thought I would say that, but there was a point where we didn't have anything to do. So I was like, let's go ride Pirates because that's the go-to. Don't have anything to do. Want to ride something, ride. Right. And you looked at me and you're like, we don't have time. We have to be at our dinner reservation in 45 minutes. And it was like, that is so true because even if we got on the ride after the 5-minute posted wait time, we wouldn't get off of it until the time we had to be at the dinner reservation. It's
well, that makes
too
it
long.
sound like the ride's 40 minutes long. It's not a 40-minute long.
No, the ride's not 40 minutes long, but the experience can be long. It can be up there depending on how many boats are backed up at the end and how many boats are backed up waiting to go back up the ramp or whatever. I do think the storytelling is tighter in Orlando for sure. It hadn't even clocked to me that Jack Sparrow the scenes with Jack Sparrow aren't really in the Anaheim one. Like in Orlando, you've got the beginning, and you've got Barbossa, and he's like, "Bring me Captain Jack Sparrow," and then you see him in the town, and then you see him with the map, and then you see him with the key, and then you see the iconic towns on fire scene, and then you see him at the end spoiling in his riches. And you don't really get that storyline from Anaheim at all. I only remember seeing him once in the map scene. Is he in the rest of the attraction? Probably. I'm not going to say that he's not, but like the fact that it doesn't like stick out in my memory as being there says a lot about the storytelling of that attraction. I like the scene at the end where the two pirates are just kind of like play fighting with guns in a shipwreck. It just doesn't serve any purpose to the attraction. Like the ride ending with the dog and the key and the jailers is the perfect way to end that attraction. I think Orlando takes the cake, despite the fact that there are 2 drops in Anaheim.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah. Okay, Space Mountain. You did not ride Space Mountain. I did, so I can quickly share my thoughts. I think this attraction's so much better in California. It's so much more fun. Like, the queue is probably better in Orlando and, like, all that stuff. The mountain is more impressive in Anaheim because it sticks out. It's, like, right there in the middle of Tomorrowland. I guess it also does in Orlando. I just think it looks cooler in Anaheim. But I think mainly what changes the experience for me is the fact that when the ride vehicles were redone, first of all, they're comfortable and they have enough space for you to put your legs and your bag at the same time without fear that either of them would fall out during the attraction. They put speakers behind you, like on the seat. And what I've noticed is that attractions that have the song piped into the, like, don't hit the same as attractions that have the music pumped into where you're actually sitting. And that totally changes the Space Mountain experience for me, hearing the music so close to my ear. It was also just like, it felt like a more thrilling track. Is it the same track? Probably, but it felt different. And I liked it so much better in California.
That's fair. Good.
Yes. Okay, we've got 2 more on the classic attractions. I don't know if we have time to go into the modern attractions. Is that okay with you?
Let's finish the classics and maybe we'll pick up with the modern ones next time.
Sounds good. So the next one, the second to last one, is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
It's the same.
It's the same. I think
it's cute that it's in the little bayou country area, even though, it's...
Pooh having his own area dedicated to him, I think it's better in California. The theming is better of that area. It's very distinct from Tiana's, but it blends really well. In Orlando, it's just another, like, booth on the Fantasyland street, and so I liked that it was more distinct here.
It is way in the back corner, and you kind of want to have to go back there, but they do have a couple of meet and greet spots, and all the Pooh characters come out and take pictures
Rabbit
with kids
came out
there. And
I was like, I haven't seen Rabbit ever.
It's cute, and I mean, that way, look, they have Toad and they have Pooh in California, and Florida had to get rid of one to get the other, so
yeah.
I think the rides are essentially the same. I mean, it's fun being back. I mean, so look, Disneyland got Winnie the Pooh by giving up Country Bear Jamboree. Disney World got Pooh by giving up Mr. Toad. So your mileage may vary on which part came out ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay, the last one on the classic attractions list is Toy Story Midway Mania. Yeah,
I think it's interesting that they categorize this as a classic. Has it been around that long?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely been around since I was a kid, a baby, so it's at least 20 years old, I guess. I think the actual ride itself is the exact same in both parks, so I don't really want to speak to that. I think it goes back to like theming and placement, and they both kind of have 2 things that are better for them working for them. So starting in Orlando, obviously Toy Story Land, it blends perfectly into Toy Story Land. I love how it's decorated with Legos and giant Christmas lights that make you feel really small. And it's made out of Lincoln logs, and, like the queue is just absolutely gorgeous with like all of the, like the play boxes to all of Andy's toys and instruction manuals for board games and big crayons and big collectible cards and all that stuff. I think it's just gorgeous, and I love that the potato head is embedded into the queue of the attraction. And I think that the overall theming to Toy Story is done really well with Midway Mania. You get the story, right? You're getting the idea that like Woody sets his toys up and he plays this game with them. Like you are Andy's toy playing the game. The theme is not better, but different in Disneyland. The theme is not that you're Andy's toy. The theme is that you're on a boardwalk. And I think the boardwalk thing works really, really well for an attraction called Midway Mania. I think it just really does. I think having like the ride be a game and have it be on the boardwalk, on the Pixar Pier boardwalk, works really well. The Toy Story stuff blends because it's all Pixar-y, and I like that they have Potato Head up at the front. But just Toy Story Land, nothing beats it. Nothing beats California or Hollywood Studios.
It is a family favorite. We all enjoy doing Midway Mania. It is essentially the same attraction. But I agree. I think the theming in Toy Story Land adds a degree of enjoyment to doing that attraction that maybe Pixar Pier doesn't. It's fine. I enjoy it. Is one of the first ones we did when we went on that part of the park. We went right to it as a family and took care of our Midway Mania. But yeah, I think if I had to pick, I would prefer being in Toy Story Land in Disney World than on Pixar Pier in Disneyland. For no other reason other than there are other attractions in Toy Story Land I can do. I could do all the attractions in Toy Story Land. I'm not getting on that Death Wheel, and I'm probably not getting on the Incredicoaster. So there's a couple of attractions on Pixar.
Like you
Pier
walk all the way back there, and
something.
there's only one true family-friendly attraction, unless you want to walk to the other side and do Emotional Whirlwind.
Which we did was fine, but
which we did, and it was cute. I think the Coco attraction is gonna like really change the foot traffic in that area for sure.
Yeah. Well, those are the classic attractions. I guess next episode we can do a segment on the modern. Is that what they called it? The modern attraction?
They're called modern. They're one of the ones that they have listed under modern. I would not consider modern because it's been around. It just got rethemed. And
do you
that
just list all the attractions?
Okay. I can list them, but Tiana's I haven't done in Orlando. I loved it in Disney World. So give me a few months and then I can report back on which one's better.
Right. You loved it in Disneyland. In Disneyland.
Yeah, so not what I said. My bad.
I think you said Disney World.
The shared modern attractions are Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters / Space Ranger Spin, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Soarin' Around the World, Star Tours The Adventure Continues, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, The Little Mermaid's Ariel's Undersea Adventure / Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. And then they've got similar attractions. That's the last one. The Disney Junior Dance Party, the Disneyland Railroad versus the Disney World Railroad, the Mark Twain Riverboat and the Liberty Square Riverboat, rest in peace, Tomorrowland Speedway versus Autopia, and then the Swiss Family and Tarzan's Treehouse.
And it's not even Tarzan's Treehouse anymore, is it? It's not. We didn't do the Treehouse.
So I've never done the Treehouse.
They've rethemed it since then. All right, Mimi, good job. I think we have a trivia question to get to this week as we wrap things up.
Yes, we do. Let me pull it up. It's also about Cruella. Get excited. She's such an awesome villain. Okay, question is, what did the Baroness steal from Cruella's mother in the movie Cruella? So if you know the answer to that question, or if you have any thoughts, comments, opinions, concerns about this week's episode, please feel free to send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, all the other social medias, all at Disney Assembled. They're linked right here underneath my little name if you're watching on YouTube. Once again, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, the link to our TeePublic, Patreon, Buy Dole Whip, all the other awesome stuff is on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure to go check it out.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate your consideration there. We have a YouTube channel. We have been adding subscribers. We're getting close to 200 subscribers to our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this episode or watching it and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, we'd appreciate your consideration there. And of course, we talked about the Patreon earlier, but the best thing you can do if you want to help us to create more joy and put some more positivity out into the world is share this episode. Tell your friends about the show. Encourage them to give it a shot, to give it a chance. We'd appreciate that. And if you haven't done so already, feel free to leave us a rating and review, especially if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. A 5-star rating would be much appreciated. It does help people find the show because they type in, I'm looking for a good Disney podcast. Typically, they spit out the ones as recommendations that have the most ratings and reviews. So if you haven't done that yet, we'd appreciate your consideration for that. All right, Mimi.
Virtual high five.
Virtual high five to the camera. There we go. I don't know what kind of delay there is, but that was our high five. All right, ladies, gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, we hope that this episode, the one you just listened to, brought a smile to your face. We hope it also brought some extra magic to your day and that very important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. We cannot thank you enough for listening. And until next time, see you real soon.
See you real soon.